Hey guys, it's Cam here with my review of Digimon Symbiosis, also known as Coexistence, that has finally been released for us to watch after all these months. In this review, I'll be not so much breaking down the movie from start to finish, but I will be talking about the pros, the cons, and the major scenes that stuck out to me as important to know and share and discuss within this review. So, that being said, I am going to be brutally honest. Um, and yeah, I'm not going to hold back. I'm just going to be honest. If you guys don't like what I say, please leave a comment because I want to hear it. If you like what I say, that's awesome too. And we can just kind of discuss further. So let's get right into it. All right, so I'm gonna start with the pros of this movie. Um, you know, Number one, starting with the animation. I do think that Toy did an excellent job taking a lot of risks with the animation within this particular movie. Um, because I found like throughout the film that there were a lot of great shots. Like there were some great shots of McCrackma, and that one image of Joe was hilarious. It reminded me so much actually of One Punch. Um, and just throughout the film, I just thought it was really strong animation throughout this piece, as well as the background music that was used. A lot of the instrumental music that was used was just beautiful. I thought it was lovely. I thought it fit the the scenes within the movie very seamlessly, and I just thought it was great. Another pro to this movie I thought was again more on the production side was just the voice acting was phenomenal. Um, Specifically with Ty, Matt, Joe, actually with everybody was just phenomenal. Excellent job on their ends, and and also very funny. I found this movie, I think, out of all of them, this was probably the most humorous in regards to, I guess, more specifically to the ghost scene. That was really funny. Um, and throughout the film, there were touches of humor that I appreciated. Um, And then again, another pro that I have for the film was just the character development, specifically with Ty, Matt, and even slightly Daigo. I thought there was really great character development for Ty because he kind of stepped into that role that we have been kind of waiting for since movie one. And that's something I was really happy to see as a fan of the series. Um, with Matt, in regards to character development, I think where it really kind of stood out for me was in the very last scene where Mako came to that decision of, eliminating Mekumon and Tai agreeing. I think that moment where he said, you know what, ugh, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway, kind of thing for the group. I think that was a great illustration of character development, as well as the very last moments of the movie where he, even though that was still kind of problematic, but in the idea of just character development, I did like when he kind of led the group forward instead of kind of dropping in despair. He was able to kind of get the group together and just continue on that path forward, even though that scene in particular in itself is kind of problematic in regards to the way that he kind of saw Ty. Um, Now I don't want to get into the cons so fast, but unfortunately there is a lot of cons um, to the film that I found, and I guess just to start it off, like I just think that there is way too many plot holes within this movie. Let's just kind of start from the beginning. This movie is supposed to be focused on Kari and Mako. Um, and in regards to the screen time, it seems as though there was more of a focus on Mako, if anything. Maybe like 90% of this film was devoted to Mako, and what, like 5% was Takari. Like, besides her saying these things, these random sayings throughout the film, about digital world, rejecting the kids, and Kari didn't really do much. Um, and that is a con for me, because it's like, if this movie is supposed to be devoted to Mako, and even if it was, like, it was, the movie was devoted to Mako for, as I said, like 90% of the film. But if it's devoted to 90% of the film, then why didn't they improve the character development with her? Because it literally, if, after watching it for the third time, because I watched it 3 times, and after watching it for the third time to make this review, I realized that every scene is of the Digidestin trying to convince her as to why she should sustain hope for Meikumon. And that to me is like really annoying, like very, very frustrating for the viewer to watch, because it's like, why is it that why should the Digidestin have to try and convince you of the fact that Meikumon deserves a chance to live, essentially? Right? And she's not seeing that for herself. Like, she's so caught up in herself. Like, she's being really selfish, and it's just like, to see that this character is not doing anything, not even growing, it's just frustrating to watch. It's definitely frustrating to watch. Like, even towards the end, where she made that conclusion to kill Meikumon, it's like, even that decision to me isn't very effective in regards to character development, because it's just her giving up. And it even looked like she's trying to kill herself by running towards Meikumon, but I don't understand that. Like, is that out of despair? Like, maybe you guys can help me out with that. I don't understand it at all. I really don't. I just don't understand that at all. So that was a really big con for me, was really Mako, and just how she was just incorporated within this movie. I'm going to talk, actually, another con was was about Maki. And this kind of relates to my point about too many potholes. When we last saw Maki, she was talking to Tappermon, her Digimon. That's the last time we saw her. When we saw her again within this film, she had a gun in her hand. She had a gun in her hand. Where did she get that gun from? Where did it come from? And how did she even end up in the dark ocean? How did that happen? Like, I don't understand, right? And that kind of relates again to this idea of plot holes. Where did that come from? Like, I understand that obviously this character now is in this state of despair, and I do feel for her. I do feel for her to an extent, not a lot, but to an extent, I do feel for her. But yeah, that was definitely a con for me as well. Another con that I had was that they had no information regarding the 02 cast. The next movie supposedly is the last one, so I think they're gonna do the 02 cast dirty, and just probably plop them somewhere. But we're not gonna see any evolutions of Vmon or Wormmon. I highly doubt that at this point, anyway. Another character I think they did dirty, unfortunately, was Workarurumon. We waited until the fifth movie to see Workarurumon, just for them to split it up with 7 other people. And like, I was just like, what? Growing up watching season 1, when we first saw Metal Garurumon, it was in the 3D animation. It was spotlighted. It was like crazy. It was wicked. It was so much fun to watch. And then in this, you're just gonna not even give him his own independent shine. Like, what? What? um. So yeah, that was just another con for me. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit too picky. I don't know. I really just have two more cons that I just want to kind of touch on. And this one is regarding Jedi. At this point, he's definitely a con. Um, at first, it wasn't a con. Like in the last movie, even when we saw him, he made sense. Like his appearances made sense to an extent. You know, everything kind of was okay. But now in this movie, like, I just don't understand Jedi's purpose. I don't understand what his intentions are, because it seems to me that he has a lot of power for some reason, and obviously he wants Mekuman to evolve and, you know, destroy the world or whatever, but it's just like I just don't understand. Like, there were multiple scenes where he made appearances, and it's like, what is going on here? Like, for instance, there was this scene with Kari and homeostasis were talking to each other, like within her consciousness, I guess. He was there. How is that even possible? I don't mean to laugh. Like, I laugh because it's just funny to me. Like, how did he even end up there? You know, yeah, like, I just don't know how he ended up there. The other scene when he was dressed as the emperor for a moment and just kind of staring, although that was kind of cool, it was just kind of weird at the same time, because it's like, uh I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, even the very first scene, he just randomly disappeared in front of the kids. Like, Mikuman turned into Micracmon and then just disappeared. What? I don't know. Um yeah, and then really just, I think my last con, that is, I guess all of these cons are kind of related to my main point, is that there's just too many plot holes, is that fall down mode. We got to see Alfaniman. We were all kind of hyped, when we saw her on the poster. It was a hype feeling, knowing that she's gonna be there. We wanted to see what motivated Kari to become evil, or not really evil, but rather infected or dark for a moment. I guess that was fair. She loves her brother, obviously, and she wants the best for him. So I guess that's fair to see that happening, or to see the motivation behind that. I think that was effective. However, it's like, we waited almost an hour to see fall down mode for not even 5 minutes. Like, probably even 3 minutes we saw her on screen for. Which is just like, what? I, yeah, like, I just don't know. I don't get that. And then that is just obviously in relation to the DNA evolution. And from what I'm seeing online, people really liked it. The animation within that sequence was very aesthetically pleasing, and it was very nice, like seamless. However, again, it's just like, I just don't understand. I feel like that's another plot hole. It's just like, what is the intention behind them merging? What purpose does that serve? Like, I don't know. And I guess, I don't know, maybe perhaps that's related to a good, quote, good story plot, but I don't know. I just don't understand how that could be considered effective with them merging and being, quote, the main villain. What? That doesn't make any sense at all in regards to the story. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of it because I love Gatomon as it is as a character, and then to see that she was kind of done dirty as well, like being kind of involved in this merge, it's just like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Um yeah, and and I guess this is also just related just a little bit to um that fight scene near to the end. Obviously, we're talking about the same scene anyway. So, the fight scene was again really confusing because everybody was fighting everybody. Jessamon and Alphamon were fighting each other. Mikrakmon had no sense anymore and was fighting Omnimon. But I did notice at one point when Mikumon was fighting for towards Jessamon, she was gonna hit him, and then Serafimon jumps in the way. What? Like that was really like confusing to me because I'm like, okay, isn't the point to restrain Megamon? Like since when does Serafimon have an allegiance with Jessamon? And I know that there is a connection between them in regards to the video games, or I believe it was the video games or the manga. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. Like I just thought it was kind of weird. I thought it was kind of weird. I don't know. Just like it was just didn't the story to me is just not making any sense. And that's probably the biggest con I have with this movie. And then unfortunately, it does kind of ripple into the entire thing for me. It's just that, just because like a movie is emotional, does not make it effective storytelling. And I think that unfortunately for Symbiosis, it was just kind of all over the place in regards to the story, in my opinion. Symbiosis is there's just too many plot holes. There's too many plot holes, and it's just making the story hard to watch because now I literally have no interest for the next movie, which is kind of sad. But honestly, it's kind of what I'm feeling. Like, it's just not good. Like, I saw this, another YouTuber said this in a video, and I totally agree with him, where he said that no amount of great animation, voice acting, the nostalgia is not going to be enough if the story is not effective. And it's so true. Like, the writing in this film, and all of these films rather, are not strong. It's not a strong story. Why are we waiting until movie 6 to figure out who the villain was when we still have no idea? That doesn't make any sense. The movie is done in the next film, and we still have no idea who the villain is to some extent outside of Megumon. Like, outside of Megumon, who is the villain? Genai? What? I don't know. Out of all the movies, my favorite one was Confession. I think that was probably the strongest piece out of all of them. And then following would probably be Symbiosis. I think Symbiosis is actually tied with Determination. Those two are definitely tied, but I favor Determination a little bit more than this one. But yeah, that's kind of just what I'm feeling about the film. What do you guys think? Like, maybe I'm going a little bit too into it. But yeah, I would just love to hear what you guys are thinking. The movie just came out, so I hope that your ideas and thoughts are still kind of fresh. Yeah, if you liked anything I said, you can just hit me with a like. I'd really appreciate that, as I'm a new YouTuber to this thing, and I'm slowly kind of learning to make reviews and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.